Good morning. It's still morning. It's 10:46, right? I know I'm out here. I'm normally out here a little bit earlier. But today we're kind of changing it up a little bit. But I am Coach Williams, Cassandra Williams of Cassandra Williams Enterprise, and I am your victory coach. And you are here for the morning tea, right? What we do is we come in out here, we get a little bit of teaching, and after this teaching, I hope that you feel equipped, you feel empowered, you feel encouraged, you may even be educated a little bit to act. I want you to be moved to action today, right? And so, what I do is I help, good morning, Anita. I help wives, those ladies that are married and those that are in waiting. I help them develop their personal skills, and then I help them gather tools, tips, techniques, things of that nature to build the life of their dreams. And then I want them to be able to live in that place. I don't want you to get the job, the house, the kids, the dog, everything you've ever dreamed of, and then it blows up, right? Or we blow it up sometimes, right? And so, what I want you to be able to do is be able to be settled into that place of, you know what, this is where I belong. This is my purpose. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, and be able to make the necessary adjustments. Okay. Hey, Sophia, thanks for coming in. So, tag, share, invite, let people know that we are here. We're on this morning for the morning tea. And what we're going to be talking about, I thought I had something else I was going to, discuss today. It's along the same lines, but, it's a very familiar scripture that we oftentimes, we want to go to the scripture of where it says, I won't let you go until you bless me, right? That we're contending with God. But as I was sitting there, and I was thinking, just praying this morning as I was getting up. I was studying last night. And then this morning, as I was going to, I'm going to share this out myself. Um, that we were talking. I was just talking to God, and He said, "Well," he asked me a question, and I said, "Okay." He said, "What or who are you wrestling with, though?" Because we kind of talk about it, and it's like, oh, okay, we talk about, God, I won't let you go till you bless me. But sometimes, y'all, we can be wrestling with things that are not. Good morning, Coach Sylvia, thanks for being here, sis. Sometimes we're wrestling with things that are not of God. In the scripture that we're going to be speaking from today is it's going to be Genesis 32, 24 through 28. And we know the stories of Jacob. And Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower Jacob, he struck the socket of Jacob's hip and dislocated it as they wrestled. Then the man said, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." But Jacob replied, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." And that's the part that we like. God, I ain't gonna let you go till you bless me, right? And he said, "What is your name?" And the man asked Jacob. Jacob, he replied. And then he said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with men, and you have prevailed." Okay. And so many of us we've heard the story, and we are supposed to hold on, and we're supposed to wrestle with God. And I'm one that's one of the things I teach, that when God tells you that something belongs to you, listen, you hold on to that thing. But notice what I said. When God tells you that something belongs to you, then you hold on to that thing with everything that you got. The problem comes in is that sometimes we're holding on to things that God didn't tell us to hold on to. Just kind of rest in that for a minute. Sometimes we're holding on to fear. Sometimes we're holding on to abandonment. Sometimes we're holding on to insecurity. Sometimes we're wrestling, we're contending, we're holding on to that very thing that God is saying, "No, I need you to let that go." We're holding on to our worry because that's how we have identified ourselves, right? Because here's the thing, when we look at Jacob, Jacob means supplanter, schemer, trickster, swindler. And if you've ever studied Jacob, he lived up to that name. And where we are in the story of his life is Jacob has had a change of heart, if you will, where he was the trickster, he was the swindler, he was the schemer, and he got ran out of town by Esau. Well, now he's coming back home. He's coming back to make amends with his brother. And so he sent his wives, his children, all of his servants and everybody. He sent them ahead of him, and sets up this place, and he's like, I like to say it's like his alone time. He was like, I just need a moment, right? And so he stayed in that place and he wrestled with this thing. He wrestled, and it says he wrestled with this man. And at the time, I'm pretty sure he wasn't. It took him, probably might have took him a minute. He might have thought it was some natural man. It might have took him a minute to realize he was really wrestling with God. And how many of you have found yourself in a place where you have found yourself and you was like, you realize I'm really wrestling with God? That there are some times where you have to contend with God, because God has to make sure that all that other stuff is out of you. He has to make sure that you've gotten rid of all that other stuff and that he is really what you want. And when he said, I ain't gonna let you go till you bless me, that lets me know he knew who he was wrestling with. He knew that this was an encounter with God. And when you're having an encounter with God, you don't let go until you get the blessing. You don't quit halfway. You don't stop, 3 feet from gold. You don't get, you don't, here, let me just say it like this. You have not went through all the hell that you've been through. This is your word for the week, so you're going to chew on this all week. You have not went through all the hell you've been through up until this day to stop now. Anybody? You went through the sickness. You went through the backlash. You went through the fasting. You went through the praying. You've been tenacious all year, and now you're gonna wait to September the 27th, when we're about to cross over into another month. You're gonna wait to now to quit. You could have quit in February. You could have quit in March, but you're gonna wait till September the 27th to throw up your hands and say, "Oh no, nah, this ain't for me. Nah, I can't take it no more. I can't do this no more. I can't do this." And I'm talking to people that you're contending. Remember, you're contending with God. But see, you have to know, do you know who you're wrestling with? Because if you're wrestling with fear, you can let that go. If you're wrestling with your insecurities, you can let that go, and then you grab hold to God. If you're wrestling with doubt, you can let that go. But if you are wrestling with your purpose, and you know that this is what God has called you to do, baby, you don't let that go. Because he said, I won't let you go till you bless me. And he said, okay, what's your name? And he told him what his name was. And he knew what his name meant. And he said, okay, I'm going to change your name. Now you're going to be called Israel, the contender with God. Because not only did you contend with God, you have contended with men and prevailed. Where you are right now and what you're going through is moving you into a place of where you're becoming who you were already created to be in the first place. You just ain't got to scheme and be a trickster to get it. You ain't got to. He said you are a contender. You contended with God and won. When God wrestled with you and he said, no, you don't want it. And you said, yes, I do. And he said, no, you don't. And he said, I ain't going to let you go till you bless me. Because there are times where God said, I want to know how bad you want it. I want to know. This is what I desire for you, but how bad do you want it? How are you willing to hang on to the purpose? Are you willing to do what needs to be done? Are you willing to stay consistent? Are you willing to be persistent? Are you willing to be tenacious? Are you willing to have that grit? I'm just keeping it 100. That's what they say, right? But when the rubber meets the road and it's time to really be that thing, when all hell comes against you and against the purpose and against the thing that God has said you can have, when it's coming at you with everything that it's got, what do you have? And I like to look at it as from, I'm not a football fan, y'all, but when they drop, when they put that line, when when them linebackers are there and they are literally building the wall and they're like, ain't nothing getting through here, and you have to push through it. You have to press through it. You have to dig deeper than you've ever dug before. And some of you, that's where you are in your life. You're having to dig deeper than you've ever dug before. But what I need you to figure out today, what I need you to really look at this week is what you holding on to. What are you wrestling with? What is that thing that you kind of, I can't break free from it. It's just holding on. I got it. It's got me. What is it? Is it a God thing? Because if it's a God thing, you don't let go till you get it. You don't let go till that thing blesses you. You don't let go of your business until it starts to be fruitful and it multiplies and it blesses from generation to generation to generation. If you're wrestling with that ministry, you don't let that go until that thing starts to do what God has called it to do. It, you're contending with, for your children. When you're contending for your children, meaning you like, you can't have my children. You're contending in prayer. You're wrestling in prayer, and you like, God, I know what you said. You said my children would be blessed. My children will rise up and call me blessed. You said they are the head and not the tail. You contend with God to be like, I know you gave me this and you said it's mine. And so, God, I ain't gonna let you go until you bless it. I'm not gonna let you go. I'm not gonna allow the enemy to continue to do what he's been doing. But what are you wrestling with? Because fear got to go, doubt has to go, depression has to go, anxiety has to go, unforgiveness has to go. What is that thing? What are some of those things that you've been wrestling with and you've been trying to hold on to it because it's comfortable? It's familiar. It's always been there. Poverty has to go. God did not, he said, I came that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly to the full till it overflows. John 10:10. That's what he says he came that we might have, right? If you don't have that, if you don't have life to the full till it overflows, you're living beneath privilege. And so you have to let go of poverty. You have to let go of the struggle and you have to grab hope to God. And you have to grab hope to that promise of abundance, that abundant life. And it may look different. I'm not telling you you're going to get $1 million. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm not telling you, but I can tell you you can be financially free. I can tell you that. I can't tell you that you're gonna have 10 5 cars and a garage for each one of them. That's not what I can tell you you can have, because that may not even be important to you. Sometimes, honey, being what's important is, you know what, I got a reliable vehicle and it's paid for, and I can do maintenance on it. That might be abundance. When you on the bus, that's abundance. When you ain't got nowhere to lay your head, that 2 bedroom apartment is abundance. Or my God, to have a house, that's abundance. So what are you wrestling with? Who are you wrestling with? Some of you have begun to wrestle with your spouse. You begun to wrestle with your children. You begun to wrestle with coworkers, and you're contending with them when the problem is really, can coach help you? When the problem is really you're not fulfilled with what you're supposed to be doing. You don't like where you are in your life right now. And so you're trying to wrestle with them to make them do something or be something or live something that they it's not for them to live. It's about you. So what or who are you wrestling with? You got to understand the struggle right now, because there's some things as we're reaching for others, there's some other things we got to let go of. You got to let go. I want you to look at it right now. I want you to this week I want you to look at it like this. One hand is tied behind your back and you're holding on. But what are you holding on to? Because sometimes you got to let go of this and grab hold to something else that would be able, that's more stable and will be able to help pull you out, right? Because you can be on a ledge. You can be on a ledge, right? You're on a ledge and you can hold on to that ledge and you can try to hold on as long as you can hold on. But there's somebody saying, if you just give me your hand, if you let go of this and grab hold to me, I got you. And that's what God is saying to you. He's saying, if you let go of this, if you let go of all the things that's not fruitful for you, if you let go of everything that's holding you back, if you let go of everything that's keeping you stuck in this place, and you'll just grab hold to my hand, if you grab hold to me and don't let me go, I'll pull you to safety. I'll pull you to safety. But what are you holding on to? Because it's all that you've known. It's this is how mama lived and daddy lived and grandmama lived, and we've always lived here. We've always been here. I've always experienced this type of relationship. I've always had people talk to me this way. I've always been like this. It may be time. Can God change your name? Can God bless you? Can He do a new thing in your life? I'm not gonna stop talking about it. But for me this year, God has been doing a new thing. But you have to see it. You have to receive it. You have to believe it. He's not gonna just overpower you with it. You have to. You have a part to play in what's going on. And so today, what or who are you wrestling with? What is that thing you're contending with? Is it of God? Are you wrestling with God? Because if you're wrestling with Him, don't let Him go till He bless you. But if you're still coming into agreement and you're wrestling with the old you, it's time to let her or him go and become who God has called you to be. Jacob had swindled, he had tricked, he had done stuff, he had made mistakes, but now he was coming back. And when he came and bowed down in front of the very person that he had wronged most, he came and bowed down as a contender. He was a contender with God. He had fought with God, he had fought with himself, and he had won. And now here he comes to bow down before his brother and take his rightful place. He was no longer the same person that he was before he left. He came back a new person. So, what or who are you wrestling with? Let go of everything. And you have to go to God. You have to go to God to understand what He is saying to release in this season. Because some of you want to release some stuff you're supposed to be holding on to, that it's a God thing. And He said, don't let it go till it bless you. I'm about to bless you. I'm about to bless your marriage, but you want a divorce. I'm about to bless your children, but you're ready to write them off. You keep speaking negative curses over them. He said, I'm trying to do a work in your husband, but You won't contend what he's supposed to be doing. What you supposed to be doing. I'm the wife coach. I'm gonna come for you. What are you supposed to be doing? Because maybe your obedience is the very thing that's going to cause the shift in his life. What if what you're really wrestling with is you? What if what you're really wrestling with is your purpose, your level of obedience, your level of submission? What if that's what you're really wrestling with? And as you're wrestling with that thing, everything else over here is on hold until you're through wrestling. What are you wrestling with? And if you need help figuring out what you're wrestling with, if you are a married lady or Esther in waiting, you can connect with me at www.wisewisebuild.com. And you can also connect with me at www.thecassandrawilliams.com. That lets you know everything about me, my coaching programs, my bookstore, resources that can help you figure this thing out, that can help you walk this thing out. Something very important that we have going on right now, and you can go to wisewisebuild.com to find out more information about that, or you can go to the links in my bios here on Instagram, Facebook, as well. It's a Sociotap link, and you can find out about I am having a workshop on September 29th, which is Wednesday. We are going to be talking about marriage and money mindset, because sometimes our mindset is what is keeping us from obtaining those things. Sometimes it's your mindset that you are wrestling with. And so when you're wrestling, when you are contending, that you have to get out of your own head in order to possess what God has for you. Because when you look at it and you say, when we look at it and we don't understand, where sometimes they forgot, the love of money is the root of all evil, and they tell you money is the root of all evil. See, they forgot something. And so we got to get that out of your head, where you think money is evil. Money is a currency. How you use money can be evil, but money is a currency, right? And so we're going to talk about how those different things affect our relationships, because if you have one mindset, your spouse has another mindset, we're kind of coming in already divided, and so we want to overcome some of those things. Okay, so you will that is on Wednesday. You still have time to register, if you just go to that Socio tab, or you can go to www.wisewisebuild.com or www.thecassandrawilliams.com, and you can find out all the information about that as well. So I love you guys to life. This has been your morning tea. I hope that you feel equipped. I hope you feel empowered. I hope you feel encouraged to act. I hope that you will go and you will look at what are those things that what am I wrestling with? What are those things? And that you will identify, if it's not of God, let it go. If it's not a God thing, let it go. But if it's a God thing, you hold on with everything you got. You don't let it go until it blesses you. Okay. Um, so that is your word for the week. I will see you guys next Monday. I may come out and do a pop up, but definitely I will see you right here next Monday. Um, I might do this time. I don't know. I'm working out the time things, right? Because y'all know I'm on Clubhouse at 9:30. So join me over on Clubhouse. If you're not on Clubhouse, you should be. But we're there every morning at 9:30 a.m. in Clubhouse, in the Real Wives of Clubhouse. So love you guys to life. Have an amazing day. Go out there today and be great. Allow yourself to be the best version of yourself, right? Why can't you be? Maybe that's the thing you're wrestling with, that you don't feel like you're good enough. Can I tell you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Have an amazing day, everybody. Coach loves you. If you need me, inbox me, DM me. Um, and I will see you guys on next Monday.